is The Chris Abraham Show.
Hey, this is the Chris Abraham Show. My name's Chris Abraham. You are being entertained in the background with 5 concurrent games of pickleball. So you will hear some and a lot of squeaky soles, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's not too annoying. This is the season 4. Episode 26 of the Chris Abraham Show. My name's Chris Abraham, and as always, we will explore different ways of saying things, such as what, 26, or is it 26? Or is it 26? Is it 26? I'm not sure. Anyway, today is about executive function, and it is about my lack of it and how I think a lot of the crazy, like I was thinking about the last episode about my squalidness, the fact that I'm a feral honey badger, and that I am a feral dog. And when I was doing research for the notes that I just go to Google for, I realized that it is the direct result of having extreme diagnosed ADHD that I refuse to treat. And the reason why I don't treat it is going to be the subject of this podcast, which is I was on slow release Adderall as prescribed by my doctor, and it totally eventually Jekylled and Hyded me. I know one might say that it could be an issue of requiring talk therapy or whatever, or it could be the fact that I just had the wrong prescription, or just general situational anxiety or depression. Or the fact that I in fact have anxiety disorder and the Adderall fed into that, which means that the treatment for ADHD is counteracted by my tendency towards spiraling into anxiety. And then how I'm treating myself now. And it's not cliche, I do not smoke pot and I do not drink at all. But I've given myself a very small life and like I said, I have outsourced things like I get all of my laundry fluff and folded, and I have a cleaning service come in every Tuesday. I will come back into a second and we'll discuss this more. Thanks for being here. Love you guys. Welcome back. This is Chris Abraham. This is the Chris Abraham Show, formerly known as ChrisCast. My name's Chris Abraham, and this is season 4, episode 26. 26. 26. Anyway, God, I My language skills are terrible. I do know 26 though. Yeah, I guess I'm so lucky that people just, even though I want to be considered an entrepreneur or a small businessman or a techie or a guru, everybody just calls me artistic temperament. But what it is it's lack of an executive function. I just do not have executive function. I was on a Monday. I was just so. For example, my ex-girlfriend Betsy is extremely organized. It's so funny to see people who are so not ADHD and who have extremely beautiful executive function, who live off their task lists, who are high performing, who are other people's assistants and executive and managers and so forth, and yet still play this ADHD game. Anyway, Betsy totally likes to talk about ADHD, but her executive function is beautiful. Like every night the place is spotless before we went to bed, and every Sunday night she would put on basically washerwoman wear and freaking take to the floor to the point where she was on her hands and knees, like buffeting the floor and completely making sure that Sunday night did not come to a conclusion without the place becoming spotless. Ever since I was a boy, my mom and dad used to call, whenever they attempted to get me to clean my own room, they would call it stylizing time, because what I would do is I would go into the room and I would be in my dirty, messed up, cluttery bedroom for an infinite amount of time, and I'd just be staring at my things, and I'd be looking through old letters, and I'd be reading books that I had read before, and the universe would expand to all the time in the universe. And if Betsy or my friends from 1970 Dogwood were to come to my house, or if Susie Connerly were to come to my house, it would just take them an hour to do what I basically block off 18 hours to do, which is to organize my apartment in preparation for a cleaning service. So this is deep, deep crazy, and I think my friends realize that we've all normalized it. It's become a running tease, and I feel much less self-loathing by just embracing it and focusing on the things that I'm good at, which is just focusing on the work, focusing on the creative, focusing on the very simple few things that I can keep in the air, which is 5 stars on Upwork, not disappointing my business partner Dan, making sure that all my deliverables are done to the best of their ability so I keep my 5 stars, keeping 10,000 meters a day on my erg and keeping that logged in a journal, and doing this podcast, which doesn't happen every day, even though I aim to do it every day, and getting 8+ hours of actual sleep, not just in bedtime, and making sure that I have enough money for rent on the 3rd of the month. That's it. It's really simple. I got rid of a car and a motorcycle. I have a bus pass, a metro pass. I have a pair of shoes. I have a bicycle I need to spend more time on, and I have a local cafe. And aside from that, my executive function is completely shot, and I need to keep the world very simple. Now, when I had a international company called Abraham Harrison, or when I worked at Edelman or New Media Strategies, I pursued treatment for this and found it in the form of Adderall, and it was amazing. It was amazing. It was better. Oh, and the only way I treat it now is with a coffee addiction and a penchant for knowing that hydration is part of the problem. So maintaining fed, maintaining slept, actually maintaining my food, maintaining my sleep, and maintaining my coffee and maintaining my water consumption are the four things that I use. Other than that, I just try to keep my life extremely simple. If I start freaking out, I know that freaking out will result in an AFib, and I don't want AFib, and I don't want arrhythmia, and I don't want um, a high pulse rate. And now that I'm enjoying a carnivore diet, I feel like my head is even clearer. I feel like it took me 2 weeks to transition, but now that I've transitioned, I feel much more clear-headed and much happier about everything. What else? I don't know. That's it. I just have to tell you that, it's funny to make fun and be playful about ADHD or ADD, but it really is something, and that something is not just easily distracted or it could be teasingly talked about as being look at the squirrel, or look squirrel, look squirrel, look squirrel, but it's actually more defined by a complete crap in terms of executive function. Let me see if Google can help us. Hey Google, what is executive function?
According to Wikipedia, in cognitive science and neuropsychology, executive functions are a set of cognitive processes that are necessary for the cognitive control of behavior, selecting and successfully monitoring behaviors that facilitate the attainment of chosen goals.
Hey Google, how does ADHD affect executive function?
According to Aptitude, problems with inhibition in someone with ADHD lead to impulsive actions. For example, problems with emotional regulation lead to inappropriate outbursts. Essentially, ADHD is an executive function deficit disorder, EFDD. The umbrella term, ADHD, is simply another way of referring to these issues.
Hey Google, what is executive function disorder?
According to Wikipedia, in cognitive science and neuropsychology, executive functions are a set of cognitive processes that are necessary for the cognitive control of behavior, selecting and successfully monitoring behaviors that facilitate the attainment of chosen goals.
Hey Google, how is executive function result in sloppiness or messiness?
Here are some results from a search.
Anyway, that's it for now. I'm sorry that it gave you the answer twice. I haven't quite figured out how to master it. I do need to normalize this recording, though, to make sure that that doesn't blast your eardrums. So, that's it. Hey Google, how do you address ADHD executive function?
According to Aptitude, treatment options for executive dysfunction. Cognitive behavioral therapy, used in combination with medication to treat any coexisting conditions like ADHD, is very effective at treating executive functioning deficits including problems with inhibition, emotion regulation, time management, and planning.
Wow. That is me in a nutshell. That's another thing. I forgot to talk about this because I think there's shame associated with it. As the ADHD progressed and as the stress upon me increased and and the Adderall, I found like I became more and more of a rage monster, right? The extra energy and so forth. There were times when I was completely inappropriate Screechy Chris. And I'm a big guy with a big voice and a big attitude. And right now, I don't think I ever freak out about anything or about anybody anymore because I maintain actually too much control of my life. Like there's not a lot of loose ends, right? There's a lot of stressful people don't have to be a daily experience. You know, my mom passed away in 2012 and she was an extreme point of pressure, and I'm not dating anybody, you know, I'm sort of living, like I said, a pretty manageable life. Now the question is whether I need to transition to a larger life or whether I can be happy and contented with a very small life. Now that I do not have any outside forces that pity me or feel bad about me or try to encourage me to living my life more out loud, even if I did things like move back to Germany or move to Mexico City or try out Spain or give Oregon another try, my life can still be metro boulot dodo, and it can include cafe and digital nomad and walking around and taking photos and writing in my journal and writing on blogs. And those are very simple things. Like, honestly, I think that the biggest problem when it came to Rage Monster Chris was frustration that my expectation of a life I wanted to live and my actual life that I was living was so far out of sync that I felt like I was in a sort of hell. And now I can't tell you what kind of pleasure I'm having recording this completely self-indulgent podcast that nobody's listening to, and watching a bunch of, these are actually young yuppies, and they're completely multiculti, completely diverse, that are playing pickleball. During the week, it's all, you know, white dudes and white ladies who are in their 50s and 60s and early 70s who are playing, you know, the retired crowd. But now, these are mostly people in their 20s and 30s, people from all Asian people, South Asian people, East Asian people, just all kinds of people from all over the board. Some white folks, some women, lots of baseball caps. Probably everybody is like Deloitte, and Booz Allen. Probably everybody here looks more like consultant than Govey. But yeah, I have some great pleasure just putting on a silly boonie hat, strapping a fancy bag on my back, going from cafe to cafe. Right now I'm on a green Arlington County picnic table all spread out in the sun, like I said, with this amazing background of pickleball bliss happening in the background, which I hope is fun and not completely annoying to all y'all. Anyway, I'm going to come back with some contact info. Let me know if you have any issues with regards to executive function or ADHD, or your experience with Ritalin or Adderall or any other type of, you know, basically meth is basically medical grade crystal meth. Let me know if you've had any negative effects. Or one thing that I stopped both wise is cognitive therapy in addition to the medical medicine therapy. But I seem to be pretty happy. Like, what I'm really good at now is putting up barriers. Like, if someone starts stressing me out, I give them a timeout. I don't tell them I'm giving them a timeout, but because I don't live with them and they're not under the same house or the same roof, giving them time out just means not interacting with them for a while. But that's just medicine, you know. Anyway, is it mentally unhealthy to chop down my world into a space where I have control and containment of my feelings and experiences? Or has that basically excluded me into a sort of de facto fear-based ice flow that's floating out to sea. You tell me, guys. Nobody has a very good concept of self, and these last few years have been my exploration, out loud and shared. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Here comes the contact info. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is Chris Abraham. It is season 4, episode 26. This is the contact info portion of the Chris Abraham show. You can reach me at chris@abraham.su. You can reach me at +1 202 352 5051. You can reach me via text or phone call if we know each other. If we don't, you can try calendly.com/chrisabraham/15. And then, of course, you have +1 202 352 5051. Can reach me on Signal, and you can reach me on WhatsApp, and you can reach me on Signal, WhatsApp, and Telegram. And it'd be super awesome to talk to you. You can reach me at chrisabraham.com. You can reach me at youtube.com/chrisabraham. You can reach me at facebook.com/chrisabraham, twitter.com/chrisabraham, instagram.com/chrisabraham. My Tumblr is chris-abraham.com. And what else? I don't know what else. Except there are some beautiful people playing pickleball. Who knew? What a smoke show. I think that's it. Please reach out to me. Oh, I'm on anchor.fm/chrisabraham. If you want to find my ground zero, but you can find me anywhere. I would really love a review. I would love 5 stars. I would love maximum stars. I would like a subscribe. I would like a thumbs up. And I would love it if you would share it with your friends. Anyway, my sweet, beautiful babies. Auf Wiedersehen. Hasta luego. Hasta luego. Hasta luego. Hasta mañana. Tout à l'heure, tout va bien. Tout va bien is not, but it's tout à l'heure. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüssi. Tschüss. Tschüss. And I love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to The Chris Abraham Show. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time.